The Pueblo Star Journal presents State of Art. State of Art is a production of the Voices of Pueblo podcast. This special episode, a conversation with comedian Aaron Foster, was recorded live immediately after his show at Blo Back Gallery. This episode was produced and narrated by Bree Papin.
Welcome to Pueblo.
Thank you.
Congrats on your show. It was a great show tonight. Sold out, standing room only, at Blo Back Gallery here in Pueblo. How is this tour going for you so far?
It's going great. I mean, this tour is sort of a ongoing thing that I've been working on for, overall, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
It was kind of the first time, 2 years ago at the Hollywood Fringe Festival, I did the first time I ever did an hour and an early version of this.
Sure.
All the same topics and stuff, but obviously it's changed a bit, and it's about an hour and a half. So yeah, it's sort of, I do these kind of spurts where I do a bunch of shows in a month and then maybe not so much in it for a month, because I'm my own agent, manager, booking, producer, everything. And every show, renting a theater in a town that I've never been to, and it's just, everyone has 25 moving parts. So
Absolutely.
when you start to stack up 10 or 15 or 20 of them in a row, it's hard to keep up, and then it's also hard to add more. And so I book a whole bunch out, and then I kind of pause and get through them, and then I start to book a whole another round.
And being in this art gallery, that might be a different venue for you or a different thing to try. Have you done things in an art gallery before?
I've done a couple places like this. Yeah, I did an art gallery out in Connecticut. I forget the name of the town right now because my brain is melted.
That's okay.
But I did 3 shows in Connecticut in April. I did like 9 in New England. New Haven, West Hartford, and it was the other one that I did the 3 shows in. But it's kind of anything that comes up as a rent, available performance venue or something, a space for rent. I typically, my first choice is always kind of small community theater kind of places.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think a good vibe for me and my show. A lot of comedians that kind of do
Great.
this sort of thing on their own, they do like bar shows and pubs and things like that. It's not really ideal for me,
Right.
For my whole thing.
You have I think pairing an more intimate venue
Yeah.
with your thematic and your material, I think that's a better way to connect with the audience. And I think definitely, I think we all had an idea coming to the show tonight about what your material was about, what your show was about. But I think the transitions and I think the relatability for people was, at least for me, I'm speaking for me, but and of course listening to the reactions of the audience, you were definitely well received, and people definitely, there was empathy, but there was also relatability, and there was also different things about your show and the things that you talked about, your personal experiences and growing up, and your family life and all of those things. I think people really appreciated your transparency and your raw ability to relate all of those things to other people. I think that was a great thing. Where, of course, proclaiming yourself right at the beginning of your show as clinical depressive, I think that's sharing yourself right away. When did you kind of make a decision about, this is what I'm going to, I feel like this is good material for comedy, And so where did that kind of epiphanal moment come?
It's been a long process, and I talk about it in the show where there's a handful of comics that I really love that do talk about this, their personal lives, their mental health, and those have been really inspirational to me. Of like, I didn't know you could talk about that in a funny way.
Absolutely.
And has been really helpful to me. And so I got this idea, like, I wonder if I could do that. And I don't feel like I'm trying to copy anyone else, but it's just
your individual expression.
It gave a little bit of permission to, like, well, that person is talking about this topic, is finding the humor in it, whether it's just mental health or whether it's more dark kind of stuff. And then when I started writing, it just kind of came out. And I'm not great at talking about it in other places, in sort of real life, I guess. I'm okay, but
like a therapist's office.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very controlled environment to an extent. I mean, yeah, somebody could heckle or, whatever, but I have a microphone and I have written and rewritten and rehearsed, and I know what I'm going to say. I'm not, there's always a surprise. There's always, in a live show, you never really know what's going to happen. But I have sort of created this in a way, like I have removed, I don't really get hecklers. I don't really have, drunk people at a bar. I kind of don't, that's not what I don't get involved in that. So it's a controlled environment. I'm a total control freak, which is why, like, I don't do crowd work. Crowd work is this huge thing in comedy now. And it's starting to get some backlash, but I don't do it because I'm not interested in what the guy in the front row does for work, first of all. Okay. That's not what I want from a comedian. I want to know, like, what's your unique perspective on the world and life that either makes me see something in a different way or makes me realize, like, okay, he sees it that way too, or she sees it that way too. Mm-hmm. So again, like, maybe that makes me feel less alone. I mean, no
that
judgment
also makes
against...
you relatable. I mean, I think people
again,
can identify with you. They can relate to
yeah.
the material that you're talking about, the things that you're talking about, your experiences, because maybe they've experienced it too.
Yeah.
And it's an immersive therapy almost, in a way.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I know some people cringe at the thought of, like, oh, my stand-up is my therapy or whatever. But I mean, it is to an extent. But it's also I think, pretty funny. And I don't know that you have to have a personal connection necessarily, but everybody does in some way, whether it's there's them or there's someone in their family or a friend. And for the people that don't have any idea what I'm talking about, like, God, again, aren't you having a nice goddamn life? But you probably know somebody that's been through it, and maybe that helps somebody understand it a little differently. And I have a joke, like, I'm not sure I look like somebody who struggles with depression necessarily. I mean, maybe I do. I don't know, but
that's the thing, though, about depression. It's
yeah.
non-discriminatory.
Yeah. Again, I think it's a misnomer that, like, this what you see in TV and movies of people that are just kind of a mess and dirty clothes and all that stuff. I just don't. I think maybe, I don't know. People have said, like, oh, you're high functioning depressive. Like, maybe, I don't know, but it's just, I think the idea. It's anybody. You just never know. I think is the big thing. Like, you just never know what people are going through.
Right. Were you, when you decided that you wanted to do this, were you afraid about the stigma of mental health, bringing that to a raw audience and to people that I mean, you talked about a little bit, like, certain areas that you've been to, certain cities. Certain jokes don't go over as well.
Sure.
And because of maybe their geographic location, or maybe I
mean, I have very strong sort of political thoughts and opinions and all that, but that's not really part of this show.
Of course.
I mean, it creeps in a little bit here and there. I also think it's pretty obvious. I was born in Berkeley in 1972, and I talk about my feelings on the stage. Like, take a wild guess. But it's. It's not that I don't have
What month is your birthday?
June.
Okay.
It was just
I'm
a couple
February.
days ago.
I'm February 72, so.
Okay, yeah. It was Monday. I was 54. Which I don't understand at all. Being 54, but...
Soon.
It's better than the alternative. But I've figured out how to deal with that stuff when a joke that does sort of dip its toe into a political point of view. I mean, I only have two of them, really. Mm-hmm. I know what to say when it doesn't land, and I know what to say when it lands. Because because I've been working on this thing for a long time.
Right. Even before you actually, so like maybe 3-ish years. Even before that, when you transitioned from acting.
I did stand up briefly in 2009 when I lived in LA last 6 months, but nothing of this stuff. I did a couple of these HGTV jokes where I was like, I think those still hold up. But I wasn't writing anything about depression or anything like that. And then I started January 2023, I got back into the same writing group that I wrote with in 2009. That is a sort of amazing group of people in LA. People come in and out, and people are like, oh, I just taped my special, I need to write new material. They drop me like, oh, that person is okay. Very, very, people that are much further along in their careers than I am.
Sure.
And you get to write with them and get, ideas and help and stuff. But the very first thing chunk that I did at the end of that sort of writing session, we all, go to a new material show, and I did like I mean, it's changed a bit, but it's kind of the first 5-6 minutes of the show. And I opened with this joke of 18th century French philosophy. And comics are dark. So everybody in the writing group was like, that's great, but I don't know if it's going to work. And I don't know.
Let's try it.
And I didn't do any preamble at all. I just walked on stage and I said, I was reminded today of the words of 18th century French philosopher Charles Dickens. And then I was like, got a little laugh. I was like, okay. And, who's ready to laugh? And the punchline landed like that. I mean, it sounds so dramatic or whatever, cliche, but I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this. This is going to work. It's going to be fun. It's going to be hard, but it's going to work.
Yeah.
And I still think I still think it's some of the best writing that I've done from that very first time. And I don't know, sometimes I'm like, I'm doing the same jokes 2.5, 3 years later. It's like, I don't know. It's what it is.
It's always, it's new to anybody who, if you're hearing it for the first time, then it's new to you. So,
and
so
it's
there
was a thing tonight that I think might have solved what I think is one of the problems. So I'm going to have to, you never know if something works one time. You have to see see if it works again.
Yeah.
But it's all in the whole bridge thing and the sort of the denouement of that. I'm like, oh, okay, that might be the answer that I've been looking for. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, I think the show is good. I don't think it's great.
It's a work in progress.
I think it's a work in progress. I think it's getting really, really close. But this is me. This is the way my brain works. It's like, well,
am I correct in saying that you also have a Netflix special? Is that...
No, I do not.
Okay.
So one of the ways that I advertise is
you should have a Netflix
logo that is the Netflix logo, but it doesn't say, if you zoom in, it doesn't say as seen on Netflix. It says as seen watching Netflix.
Okay.
Because my biggest hurdle with selling tickets is credibility. Who is this guy? Never heard of him. I've never been on the Tonight Show.
He's the guy from the HGTV.
It was a long time ago.
TV show.
So that's at least in my head, that's the battle of how do you sell tickets for someone who's never heard of you. Because if I came through town and there was 5 comics, I would go see 5 comics I'd never heard of much sooner than I would go see 1 comic I've never heard of. Because you're like, yeah, I probably like a couple of them. So that's just a thing to try to get people to stick around for 3 or 4 more seconds on the reel, and then I'm not trying to trick anyone to coming here. I'm just trying to trick them into watching long enough to see if they like my jokes. That's all. Because that's the world we live in of 1 second, 2 seconds. And I'm like, nope, I don't know who that is. I'm going to skip and scroll.
I definitely think, just from an audience perspective, of course, your stage presence, your persona, your swagger, the way you are on stage is definitely endearing. So I think that really creates a good show. That's part of creating a good show, is your persona.
Thank you. I mean, I'm a trained actor, and so there's that. And you saw a performance with a very, very, very receptive audience. So it's a lot easier to
A plus B equals C.
Yeah, to be comfortable and to play around a little bit here and there and to take some more chances. So that's, I'm pretty good at faking it, but when if I'm having a rough night or a rough set, whether it's the whole thing or a 10-minute thing or whatever, I can see it when I watch it on camera. I could watch it back. I'm not 100%. And comedy is a magic trick. It's like a hypnosis. It's a weird thing, and the audience knows if you're not 100%. Even if they can't, they might not think you look nervous, but they know something's not 100%, and then you're screwed.
So, of course, going through your set, you have your mental health, you have your life experiences, your family experiences, growing up, your career types of experiences. All of these things, I think, really contribute to your resilience. And you've reinvented yourself again and again. And so this time, in terms of your comedian rise, do you feel different than you did, let's say, in any other, successful, previous successful, endeavor? In terms of your
This is
comedy?
so much harder than anything else I've done. And I made a living for 20 years as an artist, as a visual, not exactly this kind of stuff, but mixed media, all made out of old license plates.
Wow.
20 years. I think that's not very many people get to do that. And I made a good living, which is why I signed such a terrible deal for HGTV. I was like, I don't care. I don't really make it much money of my art. I co-founded a sports nutrition company that I'm not part of it anymore. My partners bought me out, but it's now like a $30 million brand. Like I've done, things that are, but none of that ever really.
You said it yourself during your show in terms of as an actor, I understand that my process is, I get to do repeated takes and they take the best of everything. Whereas this is the on stage, this is one take and this is it. This is your one chance to do it.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so amazing when it works, for me. There's nothing better than that, what just happened for, an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. I did a 7-minute set last night at the Boulder and had a great set. And I don't always have great 7-minute sets. It's I'm better at this than I am at 5 or 7 minutes. And it's just like, it's the best high there is, and then when it doesn't work, it's up.
Okay. So where are we going from here in terms of your schedule and what's next for you?
Well, my schedule is tomorrow. I have 2 shows in Boulder. I have like a 2:30 and an 8:30. But these will be like 7 or 8 minutes.
So you're going back to Boulder? I'm
going back to Boulder tonight, probably. We'll see if I make it all the way. Because I have a 2:30 show. And then next week it's sort of next week kind of a big deal for me. I'm headlining at a club in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, Roosters, Sunnyvale, on Thursday night. Just me doing this.
Kind of your home turf.
Kind of, but it's kind of the only club that's ever returned my calls.
Okay.
I'm not, and so it's not to get into too many details, but they're taking a chance with me, and they said we'll see. We know how ticket sales work, and we'll if we're not at a good number a week out, we'll cancel it because it's a Thursday night. It's not a busy
Okay.
They're sort of not doing me a favor, but I haven't heard from them, so I assume we're good. But I have no idea. It drives me insane because most of my shows I know I pops up on my phone, ding, ching. But so that's a big deal because it's it's a real comedy club and a real thing. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the same club, I'm featuring for a woman named Lori Kilmartin, who's a brilliant comedian. If you know who she is, she's been around a long time. She writes for Conan. She works for Kimmel. She writes for the Oscars for Conan. She's legit. But she has a special called 45 Jokes About My Dead Dad. So you see the connection.
Same.
Right?
Same but different.
And I've never met her. This is all through the club. So I don't know, but it's
So it's going to be thematic.
Who knows? I don't know what she's talking about now, and I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And it's also feature spots are 15 to 25 minutes, depending. She gets to choose because I asked the club. The clubs, so I asked friends that are that do this kind of stuff. I'm what? How? The club said it could be 15, 20, or 25 minutes, and they're no, Lori decides. I'm okay, I don't know. I don't fucking know because I just do this. I've skipped all these steps, which is beneficial to an extent, but it's also I don't know how
nerve-wracking
to do some of these
for
other
you
things,
a little bit,
and I don't want to look like an idiot, working with Lori. Come on, I've admired her for years, so it's a big deal for me, because it could. She's a person who could decide to help me.
Absolutely.
Probably not. She works with somebody like me every week, a new feature in a new town, So
but you don't know.
I just want to be a professional. I want to do my job,
Right.
So that's next week. And then I'm doing shows in Lake Tahoe at one of the casinos on 4th of July weekend. Another thing where I'm this is not really what I do, but I'll do it. I'll do it once because the pay is terrible. And it's 4th of July in Tahoe is a fucking nightmare. But it's I reached out to the people that
work
book
is work.
Casinos, and every comedian you talk to, work as much as you can everywhere. Go to a fucking laundromat. And I've skipped a lot of those.
About the hustle. About that hustle.
I'm hustling in a different way, but I'm also in my 50s and I've been an entrepreneur, so I'm if I just breaking even, I could break even for a while. I'm investing in my education and trying to sort of accelerate the thing. And I promise, if you've got any monster successful career and said there's a guy who's been doing this for 3 years and he does 90 minutes, they'd be like, he's out of his fucking mind. They'd be like, he doesn't have 90 minutes, he has 15 minutes. I hear that all the time. And like, I don't know, maybe there's truth to that. I don't know. But like, people seem to like it.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And so I'm wondering, like, in terms of how I'm picturing my career aspirations. I mean, do you picture yourself at the Comedy Store in LA? Do you picture yourself, or do you ever see yourself maybe being tapped to be a writer on a show? Or are those things that you see for yourself, or are those things in terms of your, I'm not going to say brand, but it is your particular brand of type of show that you want to do.
Yeah, it's a very specific thing. And, my inspirations chronologically, sometimes I do them alphabetically, but I'm going to do them chronologically. Because in my head is like, well, what if one of them sees this? And they're like, why did he put me third? What the fuck? So I'll go chronologically, which is Christopher Titus. I believe in 2004 had a special called Norman Rockwell is Bleeding. And it's a lot of this.
Note to self, go back and find that and watch it.
It's on YouTube, I think. I think you can watch it for free. But if not, it's on the streaming.
I like him, actually, Christopher Titus, as a comedian, and I like to show Titus.
I do too, and I've liked his stuff he's done since then, and he's been really nice to me. We've connected on social media a little bit. But that show, I still think, I don't know what he thinks. That to me, that is his opus. That is his again, I saw him live a couple months ago. It was great. But that first thing that he did, I'm not the first thing he did, but his first special, Norman Rockwell's Bleeding, was, I think stands up to this day. Mike Birbiglia, who's a storyteller, but he's a stand-up. But he talks. He does not so much mental health, but very personal stuff.
Sure.
His story about I don't know if you know Mike Birbiglia at all.
I don't.
He has a sleepwalking disorder. He jumped through a window and almost died, and of a second-story window of a hotel. Made a movie about it. That's brilliant. He's a genius.
Goodness.
In his dream, there was a missile. He was in like a barracks, and the missile was coming to get him. So the way he decided to save everyone was jump off the window. He made a movie about it. Yeah, it's called Sleepwalking.
Wow.
Mark Maron, who's very personal, gets dark, very angry. Gary Gulman, I think, is probably my favorite comedian. He does this. He does depression. His 2019 special, The Great Depression, is genius. It's a Judd Apatow produced. They call it a documentary, but it's 10 minutes of like an interview with his mom and his doctor and his wife, and the rest of it is just stand-up. It's genius. And it's just all those things. And Maria Bamford, Maria Bamford is the best comic. And I have heard Gary Gulman, Mark Maron, Mike Birbiglia, Stephen Colbert, Neil Brennan, Pete Holmes, all of them say like, oh yeah, Maria Bamford. And she's not for everybody. She's eccentric, and she's talks about mental health, and she's been in the hospital, and she's
Sure.
But she's I watch Mark Maron. I'm like, I get it. I see what he's doing. I'm a huge fan. I watch Maria Bamford. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but it's amazing.
Wow. So would you say these are inspirational for you to go take that step? It's like, I'm doing this.
Yeah. And I think the other one would be Taylor Tomlinson. And
Taylor Tomlinson.
Who's like, she's just like an ingenue genius, 30, she's got specials about this stuff now. And I think and then, like Neil Brennan, he did 3 mics, and then he did Blocks. Blocks was very mental health specific. But then his next special, he came out and he's like, if you know me from Blocks and 3 mics, bad news, I'm doing great. You cultivate a certain fan base, I'm just going to tell jokes
okay?
Tonight,
what's going on with you? Yeah.
So, you create your niche or whatever. But yeah, it's just like you see people do it, and I know the way that those things make me feel, and then there's always these jokes like, oh my God, that's how I feel. I have that idea, or I feel like that.
Right.
And those moments, and now as I'm, becoming more of a now they piss me off because I'm like, fuck, I should have wrote that, But it's the same thing, they're just, very inspiring, and I don't think I said it tonight. I think usually I say it. There's a line that I left out tonight. I realize now. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that like actors and movies and comedians like saved my life, but they made it a lot better. That stuff really means a lot to me. And somebody like Gary Gulman, that like his show right now, Grandiloquent, I've seen it twice. It's insane. It's the best thing I've ever seen. and like it's word perfect, and they work on it for so. It's just rather than like, what do you do for work? And he has this is another. It's just crowd work. He is the best. This is one of these aha moments for me. I'm like, that's the joke I wanted to write. I wanted to write about a joke about how much I hate crowd work and how much I think it's hacky. And his last special, he's like, if I am at your show and you ask me what I do for work, I am going to stand up and say, what do you do for work? And it's like, yeah, write a fucking song. But anyway, that's a tangent that you don't need to include anywhere. But it's just. I have never been a big. Those people inspire me, and they've made my life better. And I'm like, oh, maybe I could do that. And again, it's also like, I do need to find some way in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I just think it's so funny how, I mean, I guess at some point there was this, and I'm not going to call it a trend because I really don't know about trends of comedy and comedic work and things like that. It's not something I'm familiar with, but people really started to connect with comedians who have self-deprecating material. Sure. And I think on that same level, people connect with comedians who have revelations and who have this dark, raw, transparent type of material because there's a stigma, and also because it's relatable at the same time. It's like, oh, we don't want to hear it, but I want to hear it because I went through it, or I'm also depressed. Hey, I'm part of the club or whatever, and or like you said, they can relate to somebody or there's somebody in their family. What do you think it is about? Do you think it's like, what do you think it is that really draws people into that type of humor?
I think it's like I talk about in the show, and like we talk about, I think it's just I didn't know anyone else felt that way. I think it's a feeling less alone, and someone's talking about it, and they're making me laugh about it. The hardest thing. Starting out as a comedian is so hard because nobody's there to see you. You're there to see comedy. Mm-hmm. If you've seen me do an hour special and you come to see me again, I've already got you. You already know what I do and you're already on board. Where there's a room full of, killing in a room full of people that don't know who you are is a whole different thing. Mm-hmm. So it's a job that sort of kind of gets easier. I'm not, in certain ways. Once you have your fans, you have to find your people. And when you're starting out, you might be in a room with 100 people. You might only have 3 of your people there. Or whatever, so you have to find them and build these audiences, and you can do it online now, of course, and that's the way to do it, but comedy is subjective. Everybody says, yeah, of course, Matt Rife made more money yesterday as a comic than I'll probably make in my whole fucking career, realistically, hopefully not, but you believe in
you believe in yourself, and you believe in this,
I don't know about that.
Okay, well, you believe in what you're doing right now, and you feel like you're propelled by something. You're compelled by something inside of you to share this information with people, and to do this in a comedic sense and to bring humor to it, because it's not only helping you, but it's helping other people. So that's the motivation.
Yeah, I talk to people after shows, and I get emails, and I get comments online and DMs of that are really, really moving and really powerful. I did a show in Bozeman last fall, and a woman wrote me a note that's just and I don't want to pat myself on the back. She's like, I came with my 27-year-old son who has been depressed for years, and and he laughed for an hour and a half, and I'm I haven't seen him do that in and it's it makes me tear up. I was like, all right, well, it feels very pretentious to sort of talk about that's what you're doing it for, but it kind of is. And I did a show in West Hartford, Connecticut in April. It was sort of a place kind of like this. It was downstairs at a bar restaurant, but it was it was just a thing. It was a space where they do comedy. And it sold it out, 100 people, and didn't go that great. You know, it was fine. There were laughs in all the right places, but they were short. They were tight, is what we would call it, like a tight audience. And clearly, like, although what happened tonight too, like, I'm like, oh, that guy doesn't like me, and that guy doesn't like me. And there was this guy. One of
these two ladies liked you a lot.
They liked me a lot, but there was a couple.
Oh, these two right here.
Yeah.
The couple, the gentleman that shook your hand.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's Brent and Shirley. Yeah.
Okay.
I know everybody.
I didn't think that he liked it.
They did like you.
Yeah.
Because I talked to them after.
Yeah, and I talked to them too. But that's the thing I've learned. Like, you never know. Even if people are maybe not, you know, laughing out loud or laughing at all. And I made the mistake once at this show in Arkansas that I talk about, where I was like, "Sir, this guy front row did not crack a smile for 45 minutes." And I was like, "Sir, you're welcome to leave. Like, it's fine." He's like, "This is amazing. I love it." I was like, "So I don't do that anymore. I mean, if someone talks to me, then that's one thing."
Yeah.
But, and then he talked to me afterwards. He said, "I love this so much." I was like, "Okay, like, you never know." But I had a rough. It was a rough show. I mean, it was fine because I've gotten better at like dealing with it. It's like,
sure.
And it's like, okay, you don't like that joke. All right, well, there's 200 more jokes. It's fine. I've gotten better because I've been doing it a lot. But it takes a while to sort of build up a thick skin, you know.
Finally.
And you know, I got through it. I talked to people, and I pack up, and I walked back to my car, and I turned my phone back on, and I had a DM on, I don't know, Instagram or something. And it was just, you know, okay, all right, that was worth it. I connected, you know. I felt seen and suicide of my sibling, and like, you know, thank you so much. And like, okay, all right, that was fine. That was a great show then. So it's difficult sometimes to read the room. I mean, it's much nicer when you reel into it. But I do, you know, a nice when it's maybe not as loud or whatever. I try to remember those people. Like, there's somebody here. Maybe it's not everybody, but I know and sometimes it really is you just lock in on one person.
Yeah.
Like, I know that person's having a good time. Sometimes it really is just you know, like, okay, well, I'm just going to talk to this person.
Well, Aaron, I just really want to thank you again for making Pueblo a stop on your tour.
Yeah.
We thoroughly enjoyed your show, and I honestly am really excited about seeing more from you. And
thank you very much. This isn't one of the nights. We're somewhere in there, probably 30 or 40 minutes, and I start to let myself think, like, maybe I'm okay at this. But, you know, tomorrow I might.
Maybe you're good at it, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I don't know if maybe through your experiences and maybe through your emotional sharing, that, you know, you don't let yourself get to the point of thinking that, hey, maybe this is working, or maybe do you feel like you always are going to hold back, or you don't, in terms of like success in this arena?
I don't know. It's hard to know what really. What would really fill the
like
hole? Probably nothing. You know?
Do you feel like you're at the point in your life where you feel like not only are you sharing these very deep things, but you're also, you know, am I going to allow myself to feel this success, or to do these things?
It's challenging for me, and I have the voice in my head that says, because I'm doing it entirely on my own. I mean, I imagine he would probably rent to anybody. You know, like, he's not renting to me because he doesn't know. He's like, you know, like, oh, you like, people, like, when I post a bunch of new dates, like, oh my God, you're killing it. I'm like, I'm just paying money to theater. They don't know. I haven't sold any tickets yet or whatever. And I have friends, you know, that are in the world of clubs and dates and managers and agents, right. And it's like, oh, other people are working for them, sort of approving them. And I am wired in a way that I don't want that, but at the same time, I'm like, could I get it? I feel like, am I outside of the thing because I'm, you know, sort of financing it myself or whatever?
So you would like to see a return and a success, of course.
Yeah, and I, you know, I'm terrified. Like, you know, what if I get this to a place and shoot it, and like, I don't know, will I ever be able to write in the world? Which every comic says.
Do you think you have a fear of disappointment?
Yeah, I have a tremendous fear of failure. which is why I work so hard and why I, create this in a way. Like, I try to remove as many chances to. I try to set myself up for success as much as I can.
Of course.
Which is why I do it the way I do it. But it's exhausting, and I feel like I'm bumping up against this sort of like, if you want to go, get this right. If you want to go far, go alone. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And at 54, I kind of had to consider speed. But I'm also like, I'm not sure how much.
The fastest way between 2 points is a straight line.
Yeah, right? It's a straight line that you walk by yourself. But I think I'm up against like how much further can I go by myself?
They also say that 50 is the new 35.
Yeah, 50's not the new 35. 50's the same thing it's always been.
But you're a 35-year-old in a 54-year-old's body, and it's like, ouch. Yeah.
It's just not how it works. People, Also, everybody's just, what's the guy, Brian Johnson? He wants to live for. Like, I don't need to live for. I mean, I want to like maintain my health, but.
Happiness is also need to be in that recipe as well. Happiness and solitude and contentment.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm grateful and I have a great life. But life is hard.
It is hard, but it's what you make it as well.
Yeah,
I mean, but people might say, I know, people might say though, the uphill battle that you had to get here, that you deserve the downhill roller coaster, moments,
I mean, it would be
like
nice,
the thrill,
I talk to comics who, again, like that, I feel like I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, you must have it made. You have so many followers. You play a different club.
Tell me your secrets.
5 nights a week. You go to a different club, different town. And then, they have the same problem selling tickets as I do. They're just selling more tickets. It's just they have to sell
100 versus 10,000,
yeah. 100, and then the next magnitude and the next one. So, it's all the same nonsense that we're chasing. But, like, it's hard to imagine really having it better. Like, this is pretty amazing. And in my head, I'm like, man, if I could just, it would be lovely to be able to, like, charge a little bit more and sell a little bit more. I could just, I could charge $25 a ticket and be sure that I'm going to sell 100 tickets. Like, oh, that'd be all right. And of course, then you do that and you get bored with that, and you want to sell 200 tickets.
I think just with a little personal experience my husband used to manage bands, and so he had an understanding about how much people will actually pay to go to a show, a live show, see a live comedian that they've never seen before, but maybe they've heard a little bit about him.
It's tricky.
$15 seems to be the magic number.
Yeah, and
for here.
Yeah, and that was Jeff. Yeah, we talked about it, and I was like, okay. And I don't. When I did that in the first year, I did that was because I was terrified of the price. But like you can go too low, it can hurt you too. People like $5 with a bar. I'm like, no, they think it's garbage. But yeah, I mean, it is a little bit by geography and zip code, and like, okay, what town is this?
Yeah.
So it's, but again, I'm just like. I just want the reps, and I'm lucky to be able to do it the way I do it, from a financial standpoint, because most of my friends can't, and I'm also not sleeping on fucking friends' couches, and I'm like, I mean, granted, I got a drive to Pueblo, that's the whole thing, but like, I got, got a decent Airbnb.
But it's on your terms.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to be able to do it that way, but like, I'm too old to fucking, I'm like, I slept in my car, that's maybe it's this, blizzard or something, but, anyway, rambling on. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's great. I thank you again so much for sitting down with me and talking about everything and your future. And absolute best of luck to you. Have a great rest of your tour. Good luck next week. And thank you so much again for gracing Pueblo with your presence.
Yeah,
it was an absolute fun show.
Comedy career. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, Aaron.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay.
You've been listening to State of Art, a production of the Voices of Pueblo podcast, presented by the Pueblo Star-Journal. This episode, a conversation with comedian Aaron Foster at Blo Back Gallery, was produced and narrated by Bree Pappen. The Pueblo Star-Journal thanks Aaron Foster, Jeff Medine, and Colorado Housing and Finance Authority for their support of this podcast. To learn more and to support nonprofit local news in Pueblo, Colorado, visit pueblostarjournal.org. Thank you for listening.
Homeownership is possible with a trusted partner.
It brings us a lot of joy to be able to say that this house is our own and that we've poured our hearts into making it our own.
Alyssa and Ryan are among the more than 155,000 people Chaffa has helped become homeowners since 1974. It starts with homebuyer education and connecting you with a statewide network of participating lenders. Get started at chfainfo.com/yourhome. Chaffa is an equal housing lender.